Shalom. I know for me, I'm supposed to tell myself that what I see is good for me. The things that happen to me, I'm supposed to say first it's good. Instead of going complaining and saying, oh, what is this and what is that and why is this doing and like this and Hashem, please help me with this and that. This isn't the way to pray. Not to say there's not a place for this, but overall, a person that cannot sustainably pray every day and achieve their goals if they're praying out of complaining, out of sadness, out of frustration. First, a person has to surrender, and then a person has to realize that it's for the good, and then a person can pray properly. Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Live with the Times. Grateful to be here, grateful for all of you. My name is Maynard Breslow, and today we're going over the fourth Aliyah here in Vayechi, the final parshah in this Sefer Bereshit. And yesterday we were talking about, we've been talking about the blessing for Ephraim and Manasseh. Well, what about today? All right, so today it says, Vayikra Yaakov el banav vayome hasaf hasfu v'yagida lachem es asher yikra etchem harit hayamim. That Yaakov called his sons together and said, come together, that I can tell you what's going to happen in the end of days. Right, and the sages say that well, in the days he's referring to Moshiach. He's referring to Moshiach. He wants to tell them exactly what's going to happen from Moshiach and what they can expect and what's expected of them and all that stuff. And just as he's about to give it over, he forgets what he's going to say. He's sitting there and he's ready to give the whole thing. He prepared a whole drash and he's standing there and he's like, and he knew, right? The tzaddik knew that he had the whole thing prepared, so it must be for him that there is somebody amongst their ranks that isn't worthy of hearing. So he thinks, okay, maybe we have an Esav, we have a Ishmael amongst us, right? And they all assure him, and they say, no, they said the Shema, they said Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. It's all Midrash, and so he says, Baruch Hashem, Kavod. And he says the whole thing there, and they're one, they're united, right? And then he goes on, and then he enters into the blessings, right? He enters into the blessings, and he goes and he blesses Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Dan, and right away already a person can see like there's a lot of stuff that he's going in here talking about their anger. Right, Reuben, you're impatient, you're angry, you lost your birthright because you're angry. Right, Shimon and Levi, you got angry, and a lot of stuff here. And I think this bears repeating, obviously, for all of us. Right, this is supposed to be a practical drash, practical lessons, something that we can live with the times. But so yeah, that's definitely something to take from it. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Before we get into it, though. Make sure to give a like, a subscribe here on the channel, leave a comment if you like, and share with your friends if it's something that you're enjoying. Get the word out. So, as I mentioned, right, he comes over and he says, Vayikra Yaakov el banav. And Rebbe Nachman says something very interesting, right? He says that obviously over here, the tzaddik, he wanted to give something over, and we see that he lost it. And he says that every blemish that we find in the very great tzaddikim in the Torah stem from what? Stem from their forcing an issue rather than waiting patiently for God to answer them. Right? So they wanted something to happen, and they wanted it to happen now. They figured, hey, you know what? I know it's going to happen, so I wanted to make it now. And even the fact that there was a Yaakov knew what was going to happen in the days. Why should he give that over? Right, the reason why we never even knew, we don't know, and a person shouldn't know when the days is because person who that's not their generation will say, oh, well, it doesn't involve me, so forget about it anyways. Right, they don't feel committed, they don't feel invested, right? And so it's better for our long-term survival if we don't know what's going to happen. I heard Rabbi Yoshua Gordon say this week, blessed memory, that he said, that his father gave over to him, that he said, those who know don't say, and those who say don't know. Meaning that a person who does actually know when Moshiach's coming and what's going to happen during Moshiach, he's not telling anybody anyways, all right? And the people who come out here and they have calculations and they know exactly and they say this and that, you can be rest assured that's not going to be, as we've said many times before, right, that Moshiach comes through Chetzat Das. That we talk about Das a lot about Dat and intelligence, not intelligence, knowledge, spiritual knowledge, experiential wisdom, all these kind of things, and how important Das is. But when Moshiach comes, it's going to be Chetzat Das. It's going to be when we least expect it. It's going to be we're looking and distracted, and we look and he's here. When did you get here? That's how quick Moshiach's going to be here. Right, but here the whole issue wasn't that he didn't know it was going to happen. It's that he was pushing the issue, right? As it says that Adam erred on the same day that he was created, that he should have waited until Shabbos began to engage in marital relationship with Eve. And also the Zohar says that the tree of knowledge of good and evil was what? That it was a grapevine. Right, and it was a grapevine, and what were the grapes? What were the things that they ate that got him in trouble? It was fermented grapes. See, also Noah got in trouble with fermented grapes, getting drunk. And if Adam would have waited, he could have said Kiddush in just a little bit. It was already Yom Shishi. But he couldn't wait, and he pushed the envelope, and they got expelled. Right, Avraham Avinu as well demanded of Hashem to know, how will I know that I'll inherit the land? That's when Hashem said, okay. He could have just said, wow, I'm going to inherit it. Thank you so much, Hashem. And instead, right, he got put to sleep, and the whole thing with the splitting of the parts and this covenant that he enters. And we're here at this point where all the Jews are now in Mitzrayim because of that action of Avraham Avinu. Right? Yitzchak also wanted to give the blessing to Esav so that Esav could be subservient to Yaakov and support his Torah efforts so that Yaakov could learn Torah, Esav could do the work, and they worked together. Right, and it says that actually this is what's supposed to happen, but this is only supposed to happen until Moshiach comes, after Moshiach comes, not before. So once again, Yaakov wanted to reveal the end of days. When he comes over here and he talks to Reuben and Shimon, when he says, okay, fine, what happens? He realizes, at first he's thinking, well, my sons aren't worthy. Must be somebody in here. There must be an outlier in here. Well, after he hears and all say the Shema and say, no, we're with you. We're united. Right, you can see that they're telling the truth. And so he just, he surrenders. Right, he says, okay, this is what Hashem wants. So what am I here for? We have you together. He starts giving a blessing. Right, and when he's talking to Reuben, Shimon, and Levi, he's talking about their anger. He's trying to tell them how, Rebbe Nachman says how important it is to be patient. That the reason why they got angry is because they're impatient, right? That Reuven didn't know why his mother couldn't be with Yaakov that night, and why it was, the other mother, the concubine, right? And so he wanted to push the issue and push his way, and so for that, he moved the couch, right? And for that, he lost his birthright and his kingship and his priesthood. And Shimon and Levi, they attacked Shechem without consulting their father. And in Yehuda, however, Yaakov saw the progenitor of Moshiach, who exemplified true patience and mastered the power of supplication and prayer. Which is also specifically why, what is the word used? Vayikra Yaakov banav. Right, we know this isn't the first time they were seeing Vayikra. The first time is when Hashem sees that the light is good. He sees the light is good. And then he separates between the good and the darkness, between Or v'Choshech. And then he says, Vayikra Or Yom, calls light day, v'Choshech Laila, and darkness is night. But we know that Vayikra is very famous specifically, and we'll get into when it's very famous specifically because Vayikra is the name of course, the third book of Moshe, the third book of the Chumash, right? Vayikra. And we'll talk about later what the connection between that first Vayikra is and that the book is later on. But for now, Right? We know that Vayikra deals with the korbanos, right? Deals with the korbanos. Deals with the sacrifices. And this was the way that they were, that at the time they were worshiping gods, that the pagans were worshiping gods with sacrifices. And so this is how all humans related to the gods, so to speak, or these deities or everything. And this is what they thought avoda was. And so Hashem, they're like, no, like, we don't have an avoda. And so Hashem said, okay, fine, here's these korbanos, you're going to bring these korbanos, and this is how you're going to do it, and this is a prescribed thing, and this and that. And what happens after the destruction of the temples? We don't have it anymore. And it says, let your lips replace the bulls, meaning now we have tefillah. Now we have tefillah. And so what he was really saying over here was that, what he was really saying was two things. He was saying, first and foremost, you have to pray. First and foremost, you have to pray. You have to surrender. Right? So again, not first and foremost, third and foremost, I guess, right? First, you have to surrender. You have to realize, hey, I don't run the show. Even though he was a Navi, he was a prophet, and he knew what Moshiach was going to do and when it was coming. Hashem made it clear he didn't want him to know, and he didn't want her to reveal right now. So he took it from him. So you have to surrender. All right, this is what Hashem wants. Then what's the second thing? We see that the first time that Vayikra is said, that Hashem, he names light to be day and darkness to be night. But before then, it says, Vayah ha'or vayhi tov. He saw that, he says, Vayikra Elokim la'or yom v'lachoshech yak kara layla vayhi erev vayhi vorke yom echad. So God called the night the light day and called the darkness night. And there was evening and there was morning, the first day. But before then it says, Vayah Elokim es ha'or ki tov vayavdel Elokim bein ha'or uvein ha'choshech. He saw first that the light was good. And then he was able to separate it. And then he was able to call it by its name. And here, Yosef's going through all these things and going through all the blessings of the sons. And it's almost like Hashem going through the first days of creation, naming everything. And Adam going through everything, naming everything. Right? And these are where Vayikra comes up a lot, and it comes up here as well. So before a person can even pray, a person has to be calm, a person has to be surrendered, and a person has to see that everything's good. Okay, everything's good. What do you mean everything's good? What do you mean everything's good? Everything's not good. We're supposed to think this, right? And unfortunately right now, we should take a moment to think about the Chatufim, the hostages, and also everybody in Los Angeles. Right? I'm from Los Angeles, here in Eretz Yisrael, thank God, for the last 8 years. But I'm from LA, and the people of LA are suffering right now with the fires. We should pray for them, everybody who's been affected by it. And everybody should be able to recover, make shuvah, do whatever it is that we need to do. And so I'm not here to tell people who just lost their home that don't you know that it's good. Chas v'shalom. Chas v'shalom. I know for me, I'm supposed to tell myself that what I see is good for me. But the things that happen to me, I'm supposed to say first it's good. Instead of going complaining and saying, oh, what is this and what is that and why is this doing and like this and Hashem, please help me with this and with that. This isn't the way to pray. Not to say there's not a place for this, but overall, a person cannot sustainably pray every day and achieve their goals if they're praying out of complaining, out of sadness, out of frustration. First, a person has to surrender, and then a person has to realize that it's for the good, and then a person can pray properly. And this is what he was giving over to his children. Right? And not to push the issue. Not to go before it's ready. Not to make things happen before it's ready. But really says that instead, the person should appeal constantly to Hashem with various supplications and requests in order to draw close to him and to draw upon himself the sanctity of Torah. That one must endure many tests in order to properly attain Torah, to achieve our goals, to do what we need to do, to be patient in prayer. This is the main way. That he can exercise his free will and learn to direct his will towards serving Hashem with prayer, but only if we know that I'm exactly where I need to be and everything's for the good. And so this is the only way to get Moshiach. Everybody wants to know, where's Moshiach going to be? When's Moshiach going to be here? And this is specifically why the connection between Vayikra and the first Vayikra and this Vayikra, that Hashem said, that he said, Yaakov Avinu, Israel said, let me gather you so I can tell you what's going to be in the end of days. And what happens in the very first one? Right, the sages say that what happened is he saw the light, that it was good, that this refers to the light of Moshiach, the light that's reserved for the Tzaddikim in the world to come, in the future. What the sages say referred to Moshiach, and that he had to hide it from the people who would take advantage of it. And so we should know that for sure there is a cleansing period, unfortunately, and for sure we know that there is a period of coming here to this world and having to endure tests and having to overcome struggles and having to better ourselves and to work on our midot, to work on our spiritual and personal, whether it be chemical imbalances or character traits, character defects, anything like this, to come here and to work on it is what we need to work on. But the way isn't to push our way ahead. The way is only to daven on it, to know that for sure Hashem put me here for a reason. He made me here. He made me, and I am the person I'm supposed to be for now. And the only way I'm going to get better is if I'm praying and I'm working on myself consistently. And in this way, we're going to see that all of our dreams, all of our things, everything that we're working on is coming true. And anybody who needs a salvation should have salvation right away. Anybody who needs salvation should have the strength to go and to talk to Hashem with patience. And know that for sure their salvation is here upon us. Because salvation is here. The Yeshua is here. The Moshiach is here. And ready to reveal himself. And all the things that we're seeing around us is the birth pains of Moshiach. That the sages said, let Moshiach come and let me not see it. And all of us who have a front row seat to Moshiach. So we should all be zoichet to have a good front row seat. And when a person goes and they go and sit by Shamu, right, and Shamu splashes them, they're in the splash zone. So maybe we want to get a few rows back, even though we're going to see what's going to happen. Maybe we're going to get a few rows back, not to be affected by the splash zone. Hashem should bless us to stay far away from anything, any damage, any hurt, any pain, any suffering, and to help each other. Every single person, wherever they are, that needs help, to please, we should help them. And Hashem should help them. And in this way, we're going to see Moshiach Tzidkeinu coming, the third base HaMikdash coming speedily, in our main, through prayer, without pushing, in the best way possible. L'chaim. Shabbos, and all the best to everybody out there.